We are on the first PPT. Now here we in this chapter, what are we going to see? Basically, is like what do you mean by global world? Okay, so how was the world prior modern, pre-modern world we will be seeing. So we are going to see how cultures, materials, and diseases spread across the globe. Now, the chapter deals with globalization and how it came to be, means how globalization came into existence. What is globalization? Having connection across the world. Yes. Economic system. Okay, fine. So, more appropriate is like having connection, connectivity, or trade, communication between the different continents or different countries of the world. Okay. So, globalization seems a modern concept to us. However, it has been a long time in the making. Okay. Humans have always traveled distance for knowledge, employment, trade, etc. So, we have seen this in sixth standard, if I'm not wrong, that the trading took place and there was a special route in the north of India. Silk Route, exactly. Good. So I was talking about the Silk Route. So everybody knows that the um, like there was a Silk Route from which trading took place from in between different countries of the world, especially Asian and the European countries. Okay. So this and apart from this also we have learned about how Buddhism spread. So that was culture you can say or knowledge you can say, right? So sharing or the concept what you call as globalization isn't a new concept. It has been practiced long back. So the ideas, culture, skill, money, germs have all traveled with them. So it was not only the positive things, but if you like, as you know, even today COVID and swine flu, these you are aware of that these diseases are coming not generated in India, but they are coming from outside the other countries of the world. So even there are drawbacks and disadvantages of this traveling of the people from one place to another. So now Silk Route, we will see about the Silk Route. You must have heard about the Silk Route that runs along Ladakh. It connects Asia, India, Afghanistan, right up to Persia and Europe. This route was used for what? To trade silk, textile, spices, metals, etc. from these countries, from the Asian countries. Okay. Even today, if you visit Namra Valley in Ladakh, you will see the camels residing there, successors of those who once transferred the Silk Route. Okay. So even today you can see the camels there as the residents because of the generation, like use of them generation after generation. Okay, so you can see the picture of the camels there. Now food travels. Now how did this dish reach our restaurant? It is believed to have been originated in Sicily, if I'm not wrong, Italy, but it is now a global dish. Yes, a type of noodle, type of pasta, we can say. So this even we have it in our grocery list, right? Once this was originated in Italy, it was the food of Italy. Now, but now it is available all over the world. Now, even more common vegetables like the potatoes, the maize, groundnuts, chilies, etc., have traveled across continents a few centuries ago. Whatever your favorite dish, the potato and the groundnuts, right? I hope everyone likes them. So these are all American food. They originated in America. Now we grew it in our country also. It is so common that we forgot that it's an American food. It is that very usable and friendly for us, and we like it the most. So now this was food travel. Now we will see the sea routes. Okay, the boundaries were bridged when sea routes came to be used for trade. The discovery of America by Christopher Columbus led to increased trade in terms of precious metals, minerals, crops, etc. So it was not only through the land that everything came in, but even the seas were used for the same. So trading was done through the sea also, right? So whatever red you can see is overland Silk Route, and whatever in blue you can see is again the Silk Route, but it is marine, you can say, or sea route, sea Silk Route, maritime Silk Route. Okay, and this was red is seen to the land. They were traveling through the land, and the people who were traveling in, like, the blue route tells that the people were traveling through the sea. Now, spread of disease. So we have seen that the food was transferred, the metals and other precious things, textile, silk was transferred. Now even diseases got transferred. With the world becoming a smaller place and so much trade going on, it also led to exchange of diseases. When the Spanish and Portuguese colonized America, they brought smallpox with them. So you need to read about this in the textbook. Of course, we will be doing it if time permits us. And I'll tell you that what part is important there. Okay. Now the Americans had no immunity against the disease, and so were killed in huge numbers. Actually, these germs, smallpox, was being used as a weapon to win the battle. Okay, so the Spanish people used smallpox as a weapon to conquer America, because they were knowing that they did not have the immunity to resist the yeah resist the diseases, the sorry, germs. Okay, so they started spreading these, and then the people were affected and killed in huge number. So there were very handful left out to win on. Okay, so now this was about the like exchange, like things how they were coming from one place to another. Then now the world trade. Now, China was one of the world's largest countries until around 18th century. However, by the 15th century, they restricted overseas connection, and so their role in global trade reduced. This led to the emergence of Europe as a center of world trade. So, because they were restricting the trade from the sea route, so their trade also decreased. No one was ready to exchange or take their goods or sell the goods to them. But finally, they realized that, and they overcome that. And till 18, they were the world's richest country, one of the richest countries. Okay, but when this reduced their sea routes or sea connection, oversea connections, then what happened was the World Trade Center, you can say, was shifted to Europe. So Europe got the importance of as a center of world trade. So this was all about today. So you'll be reading. These are the diary entries. As I said, say always, please do read it conscious, because it will be very helpful for you. You'll have a detailed study of that particular conch or the part of the lesson. So if at all you have to know the MCQs, then you have the better answers if you read in conscious. And because of Europe's currency is of high, um, actually, that also we will read in economics or later in this part, this chapter also. Uh, that was not the reason in 15th century. There are other some reasons why European currency is higher, having higher rate or have higher value. Okay. So the diary entry will focus on again on the diary entries, and the diary entry says that you have to read from the beginning of the lesson that is page number 77 till the end of page number 80. Okay, again I am telling you, I would like to remind you that these page numbers may change. Okay.
When we talk of globalization, we often refer to an economic system that has emerged since the last 50 years or so. But as you will see in the chapter, the making of the global world has a long history of trade, of migration, of people in search of work, the movement of capital, and much else. As we think about the dramatic and visible sign of global interconnectedness in our lives today, we need to understand the phases through which this world in which we have lived has emerged. All through history, human societies have become steadily more interlinked. From ancient times, travelers, traders, priests, and pilgrims traveled vast distances for knowledge, opportunity, and spiritual fulfillment or to escape persecution. They carried goods, money, value, skills, ideas, innovations, and even germs and diseases. As early as 3000 BCE, an active coastal trade linked the Indus Valley civilizations with present day West India. For more than a millennia, cowries, the Hindi kavdi or seashells, used as a form of currency.
Excuse me, yes. Now this sentence, for more than a millennia, Kauri is the Hindi word Kauri, okay, or seashells used as a form of currency. This is important from the point of MCQ. So mark this sentence, please. Yes. Now you can continue.
The Maldives found their way to China and to East Africa. The long distance spread of disease carrying germs may be traced as far back as the 7th century. By the 13th century, it had become an unmistakable link.
See, now even this you should be able to memorize, okay, or remember. Like figure 1, what it shows image of a ship on a memorial and zoom in so that you come to know what we are talking about. So this it is the picture you can see the ship here or a boat here. Okay, so image of a ship on a memorial stone, Goa Museum, 10th century. From the 9th century, images of ships appear regularly in memorial stones found in the western coast, indicating the significance of oceanic trade. Okay, so ocean took place right from 9th century. This is the evidence of it. So if you have this picture, you need to explain it. So you should know the explanation where it is being given. Okay. Yes. Now we can continue. Sorry. At, yeah.
Silk routes link the world. The Silk routes are a good example of vibrant pre-modern trade and cultural links between distant parts of the world. The name Silk Route points the importance of westbound Chinese silk cargoes along this route. Historians have identified several silk routes over land and by sea, knitting together vast areas of Asia and linking Asia with Europe and northern Africa. They are known to have existed since before the Christian era and thrived almost till the 15th century. But the Chinese poetry also traveled the same route as did textiles and spices from India and Southeast Asia. In return, precious metals, gold and silver, flowed from Europe to Asia. Trade and cul- Asia. Trade and culture exchange always went hand in hand. Early Christian missionaries almost
Excuse
certainly
me, please.
traveled through
Yes.
this
So
route
now
to
here,
Asia.
now this is also an important part. I'm highlighting it. You also have to mark it in the in your textbooks if you have it or remember. Okay. Chinese pottery also traveled the same route. Which route? Silk route. Okay, and did textile and spices from India and Southeast Asia. Okay, and what was returned in against it was the precious metals, gold and silver from Europe to Asia. So this sentence is important from the point of view of the one mark answer or MCQs. Okay. So keep that in mind. Yes, continue.
Early Christian missionaries almost certainly traveled through this route to Asia, as did early Muslim preachers a few centuries later. Much before all this, Buddhism emerged from eastern India and spread in several directions through intersecting points on the Silk routes.
Food travel, spaghetti and potato. Food offers many examples of long distance cultural exchange. Traders and travelers introduced new crops to the lands they traveled. Even ready foodstuff in distant parts of the world might share common origins. Take spaghetti and noodles. It is believed that it is believed that noodles traveled west from China to become spaghetti, or perhaps Arab traders took pasta to 5th century Sicily, Sicily, an island now in Italy. Similar foods were also known in India and Japan, so the truth about their origins may never be known. Yet such guesswork suggests
Just a minute. Huh? Yeah. Yes. Continue.
Yet such guesswork suggests the possibilities of long distance cultural contact even in the pre-modern world.
Continue.
Many of our common foods such as potatoes, soya, groundnuts, maize, tomatoes, chilies, sweet potatoes, and so on were not known to our ancestors until about 5 centuries ago. These foods were only introduced in Europe and Asia after Christopher Columbus accidentally discovered the vast continent that would later become known as the Americas. Here we will use America to describe North America, South America, and the Caribbean. In fact, many of our common foods came from America's original inhabitants, the American Indians. Sometimes the new crops could make the difference between life and death. Europe's poor began to eat better and live longer with the introduction of the humble potato. Ireland's poorest peasants became so dependent on potatoes that when disease destroyed the potato crop in the mid 1840s, hundreds of thousands died of starvation.
So even this part, the second part, like sometimes new crops would make the difference between life and death. So how you need to explain then. So this entire paragraph is important. How potatoes were serving as the uh, like they were dependent on potatoes for their lives. Okay.
The pre-modern world shrank greatly in the 16th century after European sailors found a sea route to Asia and also successfully crossed the Western Ocean to America. For centuries before, the Indian Ocean had known a bustling trade with goods, people, knowledge, customs, etc. Crisscrossing its waters. The Indian subcontinent was central to these flows and a crucial point in their networks. The entry of the new Europeans helped expand or redirect some of these flows towards Europe. Before its discovery, America had been cut off from regular contact with the rest of the world for millions of years. But from the 16th century, its vast lands and the abundant crops and minerals began to transform trade and lives everywhere.
Precious metals, particularly silver, from miles from mines located in present-day Peru and Mexico, also enhanced Europe's wealth and finance in its trade with Asia. Legends spread in 17th century Europe about South America's fabled wealth. Many expeditions set off in search of El Dorado, the
Dorado.
fabled city of gold.
Oh, continue.
The Portuguese and Spanish conquest and
Colonization.
colonization of America was decisively underway by the mid 16th century. European conquest was not just a result of superior firepower. In fact, The most powerful weapon of the Spanish conquerors was not a conventional military weapon at all. It was the germs, such as those of smallpox, that they carried on their person. Because of their long isolation, America's original inhabitants had no immunity against these diseases that came from Europe. Smallpox, in particular, proved a deadly killer. Once introduced, it spread deep into the continent ahead of even Europeans reaching there. It killed and decimated the whole communities, paving the way for conquest.
Okay, thank you. And whatever I have marked, you have like highlighted, you have to mark it for the reason, like how, what weapons were used by Spanish to conquer America. Okay, or one line answer, like what was the weapon used. So whatever, like dash was used uh, by the Spanish conqueror to conquer America. So somehow, how such questions will be asked. Okay, that's all for today. We will stop here. Okay, and the rest of the part we will be reading at home. Okay, uh, hardly I think so. One page is left out. So please read it at home. Okay.
If you like our videos, do share them and subscribe to our channel. If you want awesome quizzes, write to us. Keep watching and keep learning with Walnut.